Hello guys, welcome back to the Big Screen Show. My name is Victor.
I'm Alex.
And we're back bringing you guys another movie review. This time, Mean Girls 2024, right?
Yeah.
New version, musicaled up, song and dance and what have you. I don't know. I wouldn't say excited, but I was very intrigued. I'm a fan of the OG, personally. It's a classic, if I'm 20, almost 26, I'm 25, and if you're around that age, and definitely if you're a woman around that age, you definitely love Mean Girls or know its importance in the pop culture world at least, So, for them to bring out this spin, like when I saw that trailer, it was like a curveball. I don't know about you, but I didn't expect it. I only just saw it in the theaters before like another movie we were watching, and the trailer popped up, and I was like, whoa, they're doing a remake. Interesting. And at first I was like, unnecessary, unneeded, which you could argue is still true.
Yeah, that's for most sequels, the remakes mostly.
Right, right. However, I was like, you know what? I'll watch it. Like, we'll see how it goes. Low expectations sometimes, because you know how it is when it comes to these things. It's just a cash grab. However, I feel like we have some fairly positive things to say. So, moving forward, let's talk some general thoughts. Mean Girls 2024. This is where I stand. Solid, I think. I think they did a good job encompassing the essence of the OG while also bringing a lot of newness to it. The musical side of it was definitely it wasn't a negative. It wasn't like super like, oh my gosh, this is the greatest thing ever at the same time, but it was definitely not a negative. It was done well. I think if I read correctly, it's actually based off of the play.
Yeah, based off the actual musical.
That's what I meant.
Like the Color Purple movie from 2023, where
exactly.
It's basically the adaptation from like the actual musical.
Exactly. And so with that, I think solid. Good to see Tina Fey back. Love Tina Fey, and back in such an iconic role that definitely helped her career go in a certain trajectory at that point. And we'll dive a little bit deeper with some more details. But overall, I think that's my general consensus. However, I think due to the fact that it was so similar to the OG, which is not necessarily a negative, my rating is a little lower than you might expect, because if it comes down to it, if someone's like, let's watch Mean Girls, they're so alike that I'm always just going to gravitate to the OG, And so because of that and that alone, not because the quality is low, my rating for it is a 6. Solid, good, one-time watch. I don't necessarily have a desire to see it again, because again, if I were going to see it again, I'd rather watch the original because of the fact that they're so alike. They're literally saying basically a big portion of the script word for word. Again, I watched the OG like literally 12 hours before I watched this new one, so like I had a very good comparison of both. So that's how I feel, but not to take anything away from the accomplishment of this solid movie. 6 out of 10. Alex, what were your thoughts on Mean Girls 2024?
When I actually first when I first saw there was a trailer for it, I had to do like a double take on that. I was like, are you serious? Are you about to do a remake for that old 2000s movie?
Yeah.
I'm thinking like, and then when I saw the trailer and stuff, and
you hadn't seen it. You hadn't seen the OG yet at that point, had you?
No, I had.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I had. Yeah, but yeah, when I saw the trailer, I was like, really doing that? But they're actually making a musical, and based off like the actual musical, I'm like, and like I love musicals, so the fact that they're actually doing this in a musical way and actually feels a bit more fresh and not just like like a regular like by the book type remake thing.
Yeah, it definitely needed to be like something along the lines of musical or something, or else it would just be completely unnecessary. So yeah.
But when I saw that and when I saw this movie, again, I went in with like low expectations because I really wasn't expecting much. But I was almost surprised by it was actually a pretty good film.
Yeah.
It's a 7 out of 10 for me because honestly, the characters, the actors who were basically portraying them from the actual movie that we saw, they actually did a very good job. Especially the actresses playing Katie and Regina. They actually did performances very well.
Yeah.
And honestly, the actress who played Regina, she really went hard with her giving her that Regina boss bitch attitude. And since the musical, her musical performances is actually like a stellar highlight in the film. Like she might be like the best singer in that whole movie.
Well,
In my
she
opinion.
definitely is, because if you don't know, she is Regina George is played by Renee Rapp, who is an actual artist, like an actual famous record recording artist. You know, I think she's been nominated for some awards and stuff. I don't know. I don't personally listen to her music, but I know she's like very big in today's generation's world of music and stuff like that. So they actually picked a true singer and artist. So I would agree. She definitely was the best singer.
Oh wow, so that's new to me. I did not know that until after I seen the movie. But it's like I thought she was just like a new up and coming actress.
Yeah, no,
like
this is actually the new thing for her. This is her first time actually being in a role of acting, but the music thing, that's her world.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Well, okay. She's got a great voice. Love that. But yeah, but it really is. The story is just like is just like the same as like the movie and everything like that.
Yep,
which
yep.
again, it's not a bad thing because with the musical and like what it does in the movie, where it kind of gives like a fresh, updated take for like social media and influence and things like that. It doesn't feel as like really by the book basis that kind of cheapens it. It just kind of
updated.
Yeah, it's more like an update, new generation type.
Yeah, yeah.
Where it's like it goes itself different from like what normal remakes do. Like like top of my head, it'd be like the Footloose movie, where it is like a shot for shot remake, where it doesn't really work with its dialogue and banter, but with the Mean Girls musical movie here, it actually works more better since it's a musical and actually does this more modern thing while still fitting into this whole narrative story and everything like that. Now, but I will say there is an aspect part of the movie over where it comes to like development between like Katie and her like love interest in the movie Aaron. I feel is a bit weak on that compared to like what the original movie was.
Definitely.
But despite that, the movie still holds up pretty well on giving like a very good but kind of fresh take on like already beloved classic. But really great music, great performances by the cast and everything. And plus, also a really great thing to see like the returning cast members from the classic movie coming in for either doing cameos or like reprising the roles from like the past movie. So yeah, it's actually a pretty good movie, catchy music. Because for a musical lover like me, it was really great, especially Ray Raps doing her music thing like that.
Yep, yep.
So yeah, 7 out of 10 for me. It was pretty solid.
Yeah, yeah. 7 out of 10, 6 out of 10. Like I said, mine's a high 6 though. If we did points, I would be in like the 6.8 range. Again, it's truly just because they are so similar and alike. My general thought of a 6 is a good movie that I would only watch once, and this sadly has to fall into that category, because if I were to be like, let's watch Mean Girls at any given point in time, or if someone said that to me, I would naturally gravitate to the original, because I just rather watch that one than this one, since they are basically the same thing. So, and that's the only reason. But very solid film. Now, to get into some spoiler territory, this is your spoiler warning. If you haven't seen the movie, go ahead and click off the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. We try to bring you guys videos at least once a week, sometimes more, so please subscribe to the channel to make sure you follow along with us on this journey. And if you like this video, please make sure to hit that thumbs up button down there, because that is the best way to let us know that you like the video, and we would really, really appreciate it. Now, again, spoiler warning, we're going to get into spoiler territory. Moving forward, I have to say, I want to like dissect that love interest kind of issue right there. I don't feel like we need to go over the plot. If you've seen the original, the plot is exactly the same, so I don't think we need to do a big recap of the plot in this video, but I want to dissect that, because I really think that was a missed opportunity. You could have had like this new heartthrob, of like this generation. I mean, like everybody was like so infatuated with like the original heartthrob from the original movie, and that was like a whole thing where like I feel like it missed the chance to do that in this, because very little dialogue from the guy. He was just there for like the looks and like the essence of there being a heartthrob.
Yeah, I think what it was, because in this version of Aaron, he did seem a bit more like it could have been a bit more like smarter. At least it's like, since I haven't seen like the original in a long time, but it seemed like this version of Aaron kind of seemed like had like more common sense and seemed a bit more smarter compared to his classic, compared to like the 2000s version.
I agree. Yes, since I just watched it recently, the OG, I would agree. However, this one was more tamed, which is, I think, where it lacks, because if you had made him more vocal and would have integrated him into the plot as much as you did the original Aaron, with this new level of what you're saying, like he did seem smarter, he did seem more like caring, more aware, you know what I mean, like I don't know,
more aware of the
more
whole thing
aware.
that's going on.
Yeah, if he was that, but as involved as he was in the original, super solid. I think would be like a huge turnaround and a big benefit. Even could have argued better than the original.
Yeah.
But missed the mark. Wasn't the case. I think the longest bit that he had of dialogue was when, you know, the scene when they're in the room together at the party that Katie throws when her mom's out of town. I guess that's another difference, right? Like, she doesn't have a dad in this.
Yeah, because in the original she had a mom and her dad.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
In this movie, it was just her and her mom that came from Kenya, Africa.
Yeah, I wonder why that is. You know, maybe more like girl power thing these days. Potentially, I don't know. Like single mom raising a child.
Could
Potentially,
be.
I don't know. I don't know. That's my best guess. I don't know why, but I mean, it's fine. It doesn't really veer off too much from the original. I mean, she didn't get grounded. I will say that, and her parents do not come to the spring fling at the end, which I think added a bit more emotion to her speech at the end of the film. At the spring fling, as far as the original is concerned, 'cause, you know, it's like she did it to her school, her friends, her peers, her enemies, and her parents were there after they were already so mad, and it was like a growing moment. And I think her speech at the end of this one, 2024, was still encapsulating all that, but it just had a little bit less oomph because her mom wasn't there, or her parent, you know?
Yeah,
Potentially. I don't know. That's nitpicking. I'm not saying, like, I look at that as, like, a major thing at all.
True, but I think it also kind of helps with it in this case because it does fully form more around like the whole high school clique thing. Because in this version of Katie, it's still from like the original. It is so that she's a bit naive and doesn't know much like the whole high school society custom thing in there.
Yeah.
You know, because I think the
and
fact
it is more. Sorry, but to cut you off, but it is more modern. You know, back in those days, you would have parents pop up if they needed to. These days, the parents aren't popping up to school dances like that. You know. One could argue, but anyways, you were saying?
Yeah, but also, yeah, I think the fact that it's focusing more on like a high school custom society and everything with the women there is a bit more, especially considering how like the mom in this movie isn't much to her since you know it's kind of more like projecting of Katie's time in life in high school compared to like just with her family.
Yeah.
Because I know in the actual original, their parents were a little bit kind of more involved with more like personal time. But
Definitely.
But I think the fact this movie focuses more time on like Katie with high school with her friends and the plastics. I think it's fine. It kind of offsets the underdeveloped.
Yeah, it's fine. Like I said, it's nitpicking at that point, but it's not a major negative at all. I don't think personally. And going back to since you touch on the plastics, Renee Rapp, I mean Regina George. Killed it. I really think it's like it. Rachel McAdams would be proud. I think I think it was definitely like super solid. She did a good job encompassing the entire essence of what Regina George has always been at any given point in time. I think.
Yeah, and what I will say, like her introduction with her musical debut in the movie.
Oh, yeah,
I mean, I was stunned I was as stunned as everyone in the movie was when she was like popping up because whenever because in the scene in the cafeteria where when she was getting ready to come and everyone was like all kind of scared and everything she was coming, I was like, oh yeah, that's Regina right there. And like her voice when she was singing, it stunned me because like honestly I think her singing, like I said, her singing is like the best parts of the musical film as a whole. Definitely. And her introductory song, the best out of the whole entire movie to me.
Okay. I like the Halloween song. Yeah, that's probably my favorite. But yeah, shout out Lindsay Lohan for popping back up as the, I guess, moderator for the Mathletes event at the end of the film. Like that was awesome. A little like pop up from her because that was unexpected. I mean, at least she wasn't in the trailer, so I didn't expect it, and so I was like super hyped to see her. I think that's iconic because it's Lindsay Lohan, and she's like that's like one of her biggest roles ever was Katie in the original.
Yeah, back in her prime in those days.
Oh yeah, so great to see her. That was definitely a big highlight. And on that same point, I think the girl who did Katie in this movie, Anjali Rice, I don't really know how to pronounce her first name. I probably butchered that, but regardless, I have seen her in other things, and she is good, and she definitely killed this movie as well. She definitely encompassed everything that Katie ever stood for.
Yeah, the naivete, this is the whole transition to trying to becoming one of the plastics and everything. Because honestly, when I saw her in the trailer and everything, I was like, okay, I can buy her as kind of like the more naivete starting Katie, who's just kind of new to high school life. But honestly, I was kind of worried a bit on how she would actually be able to like become like the transition into like becoming one of the plastic with like the makeup, the hair, and everything. But when I saw her like actually with the whole full plastics, like makeup, clothes, designer clothes, and everything, I was like, okay, yeah, she solidified for me. She did a great job as Katie, and I'm even sure Lindsay Lohan is proud of her for that performance.
Oh, definitely, I think so. And that's the thing. This is probably the last thing I want to say. It's really this simple. Usually a lot of people riot and go crazy and make a big fuss about remakes because you're messing with the blah blah blah, you know. You can't really be mad at this one, to be honest, because it's so similar that it's like, first, they didn't mess up what you've always loved about the movie, because it's the exact same thing you've always ever loved about the original movie. And second, considering that it's so similar and basically the same movie, just in a new, fresher way, then just take it for what it is and just love the original if you don't want to love this one, and just keep going about it. You know, I don't think this one should cause a division or like some hate or anything like that, because there are some remakes where you're just like, dude, stop it, unnecessary cash grab, you messed that up, like blah blah blah, etc., etc. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't think this one necessarily falls into that category at all. I think this one's definitely passable. It's fine. You move on, whether you love it, or whether you like want to keep watching this one or watch both or watch the OG or whatever. I think it's fine because it's the same movie in just like two different ways. You know?
I agree.
Do you have anything else to say about Mean Girls 2024?
I wouldn't. I only would want to say. I will say this one thing, and this is like a nitpick for me, but I think but like how like in the original there was like the sex education class was like probably like the most funniest parts to me.
Yes.
I am disappointed that the fact they had John Hamm as the gym teacher teaching that class, but like it wasn't very funny. It didn't really utilize his potential.
Well, he only like spoke like twice, and they didn't give him that range that he had, but it's the times.
Yeah,
I feel like
it's a nitpick. It doesn't ruin the movie for me. I just wanted to put that out there because like in the original Mean Girls movie, the sex education class is like the most funniest part of the movie for me.
Yeah.
like don't have sex.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah. No, I agree. It's funny. Until you just said it, I didn't even realize it, which is how it's not really a major issue in the movie at all. But now that we're nitpicking in that case, I totally agree, because like John Hamm, like it could have been like so funny.
I know, and John Hamm is like a very great actor, and I'm pretty sure
especially in like that scenario, like if they would have given like those lines, like it would have been hilarious. However, I think it changes with the time. This one was a lot less subtle in the sense of like in the original they would use terms like social suicide. They definitely called it, what was it, social something else. They didn't use the word suicide. Could be a trigger warning, a trigger word. The words slut and bitch were definitely reduced a lot. I think was only uttered once each, whereas the original they were probably uttered like every 5 minutes. So like it changes with the times, but still the same points reach the audience, I think. So that's what I'm trying to say.
For sure, and I will say the musical moments really help kind of give off like the more emotional aspects of what they're feeling in parts of a movie scene, where it doesn't have to be like the full drawn out conversation or something that's meant to be like a simple scene. The music just the musical aspect just kind of heightens it more on like what they're feeling and everything. And I think that's why the movie just feels like a really good refreshing take and doesn't feel like really by the numbers classic remake shot for shot thing.
Yeah. It's like, if you know the movie, if you know the OG, which, hopefully a lot of people do, it's going almost like shot for shot, but in a completely like new. I don't know. Yeah, it's weird. I haven't quite seen a remake quite like this, but it's enjoyable.
Yeah.
So, those are our thoughts on Mean Girls 2024. Thank you guys so much for watching. That's going to do it for us. If you haven't seen this movie, if you have seen this movie, let us know. We would love to know. What are your thoughts on it? You know, a beloved classic gets remade. We want to know your thoughts on it. Absolutely. So hit us up down in the comments. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please make sure to do so. It really does help us out. We try to bring you guys videos at least once a week, sometimes more. And if you guys like this video, please make sure to let us know by hitting that thumbs up button down there, because again, it really does help us out. But with that being said, this was the Big Screen Show. We'll see you guys soon. Peace out.
Later.